I'd call myself an artist. I was just doing something that I was so passionate about.
Within seconds, I could have lost my complete full-time income. Mason and I are from a very small place. People said I was in a scam. Hey guys, what's up? It's just Connor here. Hope you have an amazing day as per usual. So welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to create a little bit of an impromptu video considering that I've been traveling recently. This is Mason, right? Mason was a friend from high school. You guys might not know who he is. But yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video just talking about what I'm doing, how I'm traveling. I think some of you guys would enjoy seeing some content that's a little bit more to do with lifestyle rather than that of just sales content. And I thought it would be good just to make a quick little video just talking about what's going on and why I'm here and what I'm doing, right? So this is Mason. He is an artist, or you call it DJ, yeah?
Oh, a little bit of both, man. It's mostly for me, I'd call myself an artist. I've been producing music since I was probably like 13 years old now, as you know. And then obviously as that progressed, I was asked to do some more DJ gigs, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to travel a little bit with it now, and I've got pretty big dreams of taking it as far as I can. So it's pretty sick how Connor and I are just international right now, went to school together, and he's watching me play my first show out of Oz.
Yeah, we literally just went to go check out the main stage just a couple of hours ago, and it was fucking unreal.
We'll flash some like videos.
Yeah, we'll put some B-roll in here. I'll actually get a video edited for the first time ever on the YouTube channel. But yeah, like it was fucking unreal. The music was crazy, and the reason I want to get Mason on specifically is because in the pursuit of entrepreneurship or making money online, it's very similar to the career and industry that he's in, and that's why I wanted to get him on the channel, because I think it's really, really cool, because Mason and I are really reconnected over like the last couple of years, more recently, because it's just that very intense values match in the way that becoming an artist and becoming successful in the music industry. If you watch my video on my thoughts on Oppenheimer, it's the very same thing here, right? It's a very cutthroat industry in the music industry, as Mason pretty much told me today. And I think it's just really, really cool to see, again, the lifestyle, because the thing I like to talk about in my videos a lot of time is not the Lamborghinis, it's not the chicks, it's not the trips to Greece, it's not all the crazy stuff, but it's more or less the lifestyle that's a little bit more toned back that you unlock, right? When you have your own online business, when you get into sales, right? When you're doing stuff that Mason's doing. And I think it's just really, really cool to talk about just in general, because I think personally just having the ability to travel, right? Go where, because I mean, for example, Mason just told me a couple months ago that this event was happening, right? This is the second biggest event that I've seen him play at. I think that we found out earlier on the tickets that were sold for this event was about 4,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got about 150 tickets to spare still, and they're just people that are walking through the door tonight, so it'll be pretty sick.
Yeah, it's a fucking huge event. It's just really, really cool to see Mason. It's like we're both from Tasmania, which is obviously a very small island beneath Australia. We're from the same hometown, from the same high school. So it's really, really cool to see like how he's progressed in his career and how he's excelled and developed. And especially over the past couple of years, I think it's really important that I obviously love talking about personal development, which is really, really key. And it's been very interesting to see someone like Mason, who's become really successful in his career, just what he's been able to achieve in a very short time frame. You know, I guess the past couple of years, he's been doing it for a very long time. But just all in all, I thought it'd just be great to have Mason on the channel.
Just to say good day.
Just to say good day, really. Obviously, I'm very new to this content. You can probably tell I'm very knowledgeable in sales, but when it comes to like this type of content, it's a bit interesting. So I think if I was going to ask a question that would be valuable to the audience that watch my videos, for you specifically, Mason, like, what has been the hardest thing getting into the music industry, that like as just in general, like, because I talked about in my Oppenheimer video that I posted recently of you're birthing something into reality that didn't exist in the first place, like nobody believes in you. So what has it been like, your whole journey, like getting into the music industry, doing stuff when no one's believed in you, like actually being successful like that?
It's just come naturally for me, man. I've just done it. It obviously started with a very burning passion when I was a young kid. Like anything, when you have a passion for it, you just feel so deeply connected to it. And I was the same with music. Like there were certain songs that my parents used to play for me when I was a kid. and I would stop crying. Like if I was having a big tantrum when I was like 3 years old, they'd put on a certain song and everything would just be calm. And I've always kind of felt like that, and obviously as I got a little bit older, I started to fall a bit more in love with dance music and things that make you want to move. And then, yeah, I guess it just slowly developed into me learning how to actually create it. And yeah, it's weird because people don't take you seriously at the start. And people, like, straight away, they just thought that I was this big like, trying to be a superstar. But that wasn't really the case. Like, I was just doing something that I was so passionate about. And that's what I think was very mistaken for a long time. Especially, like, my parents and stuff, they were kind of, you know, I told them I want to be an artist or a DJ, and they're like, why, man? Like,
Yeah.
What are you doing that for? But yeah, people, like any industry, like what Connor does, or, you know, any, what would you call it? Like
Entrepreneurship, you're doing something different than the masses.
Yeah, like anybody that does that at the start, it looks stupid. Like it's, you know, when you're a little kid and people ask you what you want to do, some kids say I want to be an astronaut, some kids want to say, you know, all these different things that sound crazy, and I feel like doing this kind of falls into that category.
Yeah.
So people just think it's so stupid when you get older and you're still trying to do this when everyone's just living a normal life. But I don't know, I just believe that there's more to life than just doing what everybody else does. I just want to pave my own way and create something really sick.
And I think that's why it was so great to bring Mason on, because it relates so much to entrepreneurship, online sales, making money online, right? You're doing something that's different to the rest of the world, right? 90% of the masses, you know, it's a different path and it's a different, I guess, trajectory that you're taking. And obviously I like to talk about on the channel quite a lot, like all about personal development and how you have to have a strong mind, right? When it comes to, I mean, specifically what Mason's doing, online sales, really anything, that you have to have it all starting up in the mind, because it doesn't exist in reality first. No one's going to believe in you, no one's going to support you, and I think it's just a really, really important thing to talk about, because most people talk about making the money, doing the thing, you know, closing the deals, all that type of stuff. They talk about all these things, but mindset, I think, is often not talked about enough, and I think Mason is a really, really good example I've seen over the past couple of years of how well he's changed his mindset, he's really personal developed, or grown himself in that I guess that area. And I think for you, man, like, what do you feel has been one of the biggest learnings or pieces of growth that you've had over the past couple of years when it comes to like being on your own, trying to build your own thing, and yeah, basically being isolated at times?
It's a pretty tough question, to be honest.
Yeah.
You kind of put me on the spot there. I don't know, I just believe that if it's as simple as just being passionate about something. Like, you're always going to continue to chase it, even when it's not working. I've had periods in my career when I've wanted to throw in the towel, when I've thought, you know, this isn't really for me. Almost acted on it. But it's normal as well to go through periods where you don't really do much work as well.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of people don't really talk about. You see so many successful people who say, oh, you have to do this 10 hours a day, you have to wake up at 4 AM, you have to do this and that. But I believe that that's the best way to get burnt out, and you got to remember too that everybody's different. So, like, you know, your mind might not work the same way as somebody else that's telling you to do something.
Yep.
I guess I've just followed what I believe is natural to me, and I never really force myself or push myself too hard. There's been times when you have to show up.
Yeah.
For example, I've been told by record labels that I have 7 days to start and finish a song.
Yep.
And get it ready for a release, and I made that work while I was working a full-time job for 40 hours a week. So on my work break, I was pulling out my laptop and, you know, working on it. But I don't know, man, it's just different for everybody.
No, I totally agree. And I think you have that thing that it's really interesting to see how like an artist like yourself, all those skills or characteristics and traits convert to like entrepreneurship and how that blends. You know, having that, I guess, I don't know really the word, like that unbreakable desire, like you want it so bad.
Yeah, you just set on it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a big thing. Like I might have talked to you about it the other day, and I talk about it quite often on the channel. But like, you can really tell when someone has it. Like it's almost like the way they speak, the way they carry themselves as an entrepreneur or someone that wants to do something different. You really just have to be different, and you really have to want it. And, you know, like Mason mentioned, like even between shifts, you know, working on gigs and having to prepare very proactively, I think it's a really important skill as an entrepreneur, remote sales, again, doing something different. I think it's really, really key to talk about. But anyways, guys, so it was just really, really cool how, again, like Mason let me know he had a show coming up, and literally within like 2 months away that I booked it in. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go. Like, I'm just gonna go to Vietnam, I'm gonna explore Vietnam, I'm gonna come over to Kuala Lumpur for a couple of days and check out, you know, one of my friends from high school who's crushing it, and be able to come see his shows, which is honestly phenomenal. Like, we were talking over the phone how like just crazy this is. Like, being able to fly to Kuala Lumpur, fly to Malaysia, not think about costs, not think about hotel costs, not think about flight costs, and of course not be chained to a desk where, you know, you ask your boss for a holiday or things like that. Mason, more than anybody, definitely hates having a boss, and definitely hates, like, obviously the previous jobs that he has. There's been some really fucking shit scenarios that he's been put in, especially when, you know, the C-19 was going on. And I think most entrepreneurs, most artists, most people that are doing something to that of the masses have a key moment, like just like I did. If you guys see my video, like my honest experience on like high tier closing or being a high tier closer, you know that I had an occasion where I had an altercation in my retail job that I was working, that literally within seconds I could have lost my complete full-time income, right? That moment was when I was like, I need to fucking change something, because I genuinely could not leave, I guess, my income, my stability, where I was going in life up to chance. And I didn't like that one circumstance could have completely wiped out my income. I was just simply imagining within that moment, right? Probably just like Mason was. If I had a mortgage, because I was living at home at the time, I was quite young. If I had a mortgage to pay, kids to take care of, a family to take care of, food to put on the table, and I was literally, because of a circumstance that wasn't my fault, I was axed. Fuck that, man. Yeah. And so that's why I think it's really, really important that whether or not it's remote sales, whether or not it's like starting your own business, whether or not it's just, you really do have to do your own thing nowadays, because if you don't, you're in a really, really, really bad position. Because if something happens like what, you know, C-19 happened before, I don't want this video to get taken down, but, you know, like if something were like that were to happen, which inevitably is going to happen, you need to be prepared and you need to be ready. And I think that's why that being like a remote sales person, you have that geographical independence and you are able to move around freely. And like I talked about before, is it's not the cars, it's not the women, it's not the trips, it's not the flashy shit, it's not the cars, it's not any of that. It's the freedom. That's the really, really key thing. Financial, time, and geographical freedom. The most important being geographical. If you don't have that, you are stuck to a location, right? You can't be doing things like Mason and I are doing right now. You can't go on impromptu trips. You have to ask your boss for a holiday, which quite frankly, I know frustrates a lot of people, including myself, and that's why I set on my own path to do my own thing. Another thing that I wanted to talk about as well with Mason is, because some people that might be watching this, in fact, a lot of you that might be watching this, might be from a small hometown, right? And Mason and I are from a very small place called Launceston in Tasmania, right? It's a little island that's beneath Australia, and it's very small town thinking. And I just wanted to talk about a small little segment, just talking about what Mason's experience has been like, and of course what my experience has been like. Being successful, obviously I run a very successful business. I've been very successful in remote sales online and learning that and picking that skill up, and obviously coach and mentor a lot of people. But obviously with Mason, as I mentioned before, doing something that's different from the masses obviously is quite difficult and different. And so I wanted to talk about that small town mentality, because some of you guys might be going through that. I think it's good to have that, I guess, assurance that it will be okay in the future. So, man, I want to ask you, what was it like starting doing something different, like your work, with people being around you that small-minded, can't really see the vision, and of course, small town, things get around pretty quickly. So I guess, what's your experience like going through that?
It wasn't easy. There was a lot of people at home, especially people who I considered to be my good friends, who would kind of take the piss out of me a lot, especially because we were so young.
Yep.
And like I touched on earlier, it's not normal to follow a path like this, obviously. So everybody's going to school so that they can then go to uni, so that they can then get a job, and so that, you know, buy a house, have kids, and do all that. And I just didn't really believe in that. Like, I wanted to go out and live my life to the fullest and whatever, but obviously the masses of people don't really think that way. Like, a lot of people do think that way, obviously, but not many people really have the drive to go out and do it. And it's, I think we were talking about it recently, like when somebody goes out and does something that is unnatural to a lot of people, they instantly have like, they can't even help it. It's just natural for them to think like, what is he doing? Why the hell would he do that? And yeah, it was hard, man. Like I had people at camping, like we used to go out and camp a lot. And I had 20 people put me on the spot and say, you know, like nobody really cares or believes in what you're trying to do. And I was sitting there like, oh, okay, like it kind of hurt a little bit because,
of course, man.
Like I was a young kid and I hadn't really heard anything like that being said to me before. And it got to the point where I didn't really want to openly speak about it, especially at school, because people would start playing my music out loud in the class and like taking the piss and laughing at me in front of big groups of people, and like it's all character building stuff,
100%.
I guess, because when you go through that kind of thing at a young age, it teaches you to really stand up for yourself. And I don't really care about all that stuff anymore, man. I think if people aren't saying shit about you, then you're doing something wrong. You know, you've really got to put yourself out there and just be the best version of yourself, and just understand that not everybody likes that. So you just got to push through it, man, and just do your own thing.
No, 100%. And like I was talking to you the elevators before, it's like people who are successful never punch down. Literally ever. I've never fucking seen it. I've never had somebody that is doing significantly better than me go, oh, you're a scammer, you suck, you're bad, this. I've never heard of it. Not once. And I like many of you probably watching this can relate to Mason's experience as well as myself, right? Right when I was, you know, getting into remote sales, something as simple as remote sales, people said I was in a scam or a pyramid scheme, all because it just didn't make sense to them. Like it was actually crazy. I couldn't quite understand that people didn't understand what sales was. It just perplexed me. But for a very long time, after a while, you get okay with people not understanding, people projecting at you, people hating. I think for me specifically, you know, when people like hate on the business or things like that, I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm going, I know the people that I'm helping, so it doesn't really affect me anymore. But if you are watching this and you are in that beginning phase of your entrepreneurship journey, just be okay that people are going to, you know, take the piss out of you, people are going to make fun of you, because you are doing something different at the end of the day. So sweet guys, so thanks for watching to the end. I hope you enjoy this little piece of content. I know it's going to be a little bit jiggy, it's going to be cut up a little bit because again, this is the first time I've done this type of content, you know,
We're just rolling with it.
Yeah, we're just rolling with it, so it's like, it is what it is. But hopefully you enjoyed it somewhat, hope you got some valuable takeaways. Obviously Mason is becoming very, very, very successful in his career. I thought it'd be really cool to bring him on. But yeah, like this is really just a free flow type interview, podcast type content. I'm going to get used to and get better at it, but like I say all the time, like you got to have a couple shit takes, you got to do the imperfect actions, same with content, all that type of stuff. Very new to this, so thanks for coming on, bro.
It's alright, it's a pleasure to be here.
Sweet guys. Alright, well, that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next video.